but that the heavy suffering is easy, that must be believed, it cannot be seen. Later perhaps it may be seen that it was easy, but in the time of suffering it can neither be seen nor heard, no matter how many affectionately repeat it to one. It must be believed. The thought of faith must be there, and the inward, confident, reiterated assertion of this thought to oneself. For if it is true that the word is the binding power, that by a word we bind ourselves for eternity, then it is also true that the word is the releasing power, which loosens the yoke of thraldom so the believer goes freely under the yoke, frees the bound tongue so the dumbness ceases, so speech returns in adoration. It must be believed. To see gladness when one sees perpetual joy around him is not difficult, as the language itself almost contemptuously shows how easy this triviality is. But when one sees perpetual wretchedness about him, then, believing, to see the joy, aye, that is fitting. It is fitting with respect to the use of that word faith, for faith always has to do with that which is not seen, be it the invisible or the improbable, and it is fitting that a man should be a believer. It is said of faith that it can remove mountains, but not even the heaviest suffering can be heavier than a mountain. The strongest expression the language knows is, on the contrary, suffering rests heavily upon a human being like a mountain. But if the sufferer nevertheless believes that the suffering is profitable to him, then he removes the mountain. And so it is indeed with one who with every step he takes removes a mountain, with every day he lives removes mountains. For to move a mountain one must get under it. Alas, thus the sufferer gets under the heavy burden. It is heavy. But the endurance of faith under the suffering, the belief that it is profitable to him, that lifts the mountain and removes it. A sufferer may perhaps be touched and moved on hearing the affectionate, sympathetic, encouraging words of another person. It is profitable to you. But he cannot on that account remove the mountain. A captive may hear with tears the voice of the beloved outside, but he does not therefore become free. Sometimes his captivity is merely harder. The sufferer may hear those voices, but if he does not hear the same voice inwardly, then he cannot remove the mountain. In his despair he may not even wish to hear those voices, but this helps him even less to remove the mountain. On the contrary, if he is able to believe that it is profitable to him, then he removes the mountain. For is it not true? The huge mountain stands in his way. He would so gladly go another way, or have the mountain removed, but if it is profitable to him, then it is indeed the beaten track, then it is indeed on his way. The advantage gives, if I dare to speak thus, the mountain a foot to stand on. The shrewd pagan has said, "Give me a point outside it, and I will move the world." The noble scholar has said, "Give me a great thought." Oh, the first cannot be done, and the latter does not wholly help. There is but one thing which can help, but it cannot be given by any other person. Believe, and you shall remove mountains. Believe that the yoke is profitable to you. This easy yoke is the yoke of Christ. But what then is the yoke? Yokes may vary exceedingly, but it is only Christ's yoke of which the sufferer believes that it is profitable for him. Hence it is not true that the Christian is exempt from human sufferings, as these are known in the world. No, but he who bears his suffering in such a way that he believes that the yoke is profitable, he bears the yoke of Christ. Humanly speaking, no new suffering has been added, but neither has any old been taken away. So far everything remains unchanged. Nevertheless, it has now been granted, this great thought, and now the point has been found outside the earth. Faith. It is not an invention of shrewdness, with its petty and garrulous occupation, with the profitable and the easy. No, it is the reticent faith which believes the good. By the aid of shrewdness, a man may creep through the world, sneak away from many adversities, talk himself out of some, hit upon a remedy for others. But all this resembles faith as little as it removes mountains